Good morning. Okay, today we're going to do our journal together again, but we're going to move a little bit faster today. But before we get started, let's go over our checklist. Are we ready to write? Okay, you're going to need your paper. You need a pencil. It needs to have a good point, okay? If it's too dull, if it doesn't have a good point, then it's really hard to write. So make sure it's sharp enough that you have an eraser on your pencil or another eraser on hand. And you have your crayons, and that you're sitting somewhere where you can sit up nice and straight and you have a table to write on. Okay? So sitting up nice and straight, no slouching, because then it's much harder to write nice. Now we're going to grab our pencil. Remember, we have our 3-finger pinch. It's called a tripod. And we're going to get started with our date. Remember, our date needs to start at least halfway, because then we won't have enough room. And angle your paper a little bit if that feels more comfortable. So today is May, so 05. And today is the 20th. So May 20th. May 20th, 2020. Uh-oh, you see, I don't like how that looks. We want to do a nice job. Stay inside of our lines. So May 20th, 2020. And today we're going to be focusing on those words with the ow sound again. So if you see one of those words, keep it in mind. Okay, we're going to start with our capital letter, the. So that goes all the way from the top to the bottom. Make sure you're holding your paper with one hand. The. And we're not going to use our crayon today, but we are going to use our finger. I want you to make sure that you have your finger space. The finger space. Cloud. If you don't need your finger anymore, great, you don't need to use it. But if you're forgetting to leave spaces, we need to use our finger still. The cloud was finger space. The. Make sure your letters are touching all the way from the top to the bottom. The cloud was the color. Now, I don't have enough space for my next word, so I'm not going to squeeze it in there. It's not fair to the poor word. So I'm going to continue on the next line. You have a lot of lines. There's no need to squeeze your words in there, okay? The cloud was the color gray. Hold your finger, hold your paper. Hold your pencil with 3 fingers. The cloud was the color gray. The cloud was the color gray. What kind of punctuation do we need? The cloud was the color gray. Period. The cloud was the color gray. Period. It, so capital I, it, all the way to the top, finger space, was, it was, growling, finger space. If I'm going too fast for you, you can pause the video. I want you to focus on nice, neat writing. I saw some of your journals already. Emily, you did a beautiful job. Carlos, Trayvon, your writing looked really, really nice yesterday. It was growling. Monica, yours look really nice too. And Kaden, Abraham, you guys, I could tell that you tried very hard. The cloud was the color gray. It was growling so loud. Finger space. So now I need finger space. I still need to write the word loud. Loud. I can probably fit it in there. I'm going to try to fit it in there. If it looks too squished, I'm going to move it to the next line. Loud. It fit nicely. Remember not to leave space, not to leave a lot of space between the words, between the letters, I'm sorry. So I shouldn't leave a lot of space between these letters because this is one word. Only space between the words, okay? It was growling so loud. Oh, and I made a mistake. I do need to squeeze in my exclamation mark there. Uh-oh. It was growling so loud. I thought. And thought is one of our high frequency words this week. I, finger space, thought. How many letters does the word thought have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters. Ah. There's a lot of silent letters in that word, so we need to remember what it looks like. That's a word that we need to practice writing a lot. I thought, and I'm going to stop there for a second. I thought, finger space, it, finger space, would, make that L touch all the way to the top, and the D. I thought it would, finger space, rain. So far I have the cloud was the color gray. It was growling so loud, I thought it would rain. Punctuation, period. I, all the way to the top. Make it touch all the way to the top. I sat. Finger space. On. This is our last sentence. I sat on the finger space brown 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 ground ow ground. My next word is and. I don't have enough space to fit and in there. It'll be too squished. So I'm going to go to my next line. I sat on the brown ground and finger space waited. A when that two vowels pair up together, they usually make one sound. Way, id. Period. So now it says, the cloud was the color gray. It was growling so loud, I thought it would rain. I sat on the brown ground and waited. Waited for the rain, right? Okay, let's start our color coding. If you're not there yet, that's okay. You can pause the video and then catch up, okay? It's not a race. You're not doing badly if you didn't keep up with me, because some of us write it slower, some of us write faster, and there's nothing wrong with that. You do it at your own pace, okay? Just keep going. Keep going. Don't give up. So we're going to start cool blue capital. So the T in the, because it's the beginning of the sentence. The I in it needs to be capitalized because it's the beginning of the sentence. The I right here, because it's all on its own. Whenever I is on its own, it needs to be capital. It's independent. We need to give it some color. It's important. I thought it would rain. I, because it's the beginning of the sentence and because it stands alone. And I think that's it. So we have 4 capital letters. Then we have brown noun. No, just kidding. Purple punctuation. The cloud was the color gray. Period. It was growling so loud. We have our exclamation mark. I thought it would rain. Period. I sat on the brown ground and waited. Period. So how many sentences do we have? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Okay, now we can do brown noun. Noun is a person, place, or thing. Okay, so for brown noun, we have, and actually I'm going to have you pause the video, everybody. Once you're done copying the writing, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try to color code by yourself as many words as you can color code on your own. And then you can resume the video, so press play when you're ready to check your work. Okay? I want you to try it on your own first. Okay? I know that you guys can do this. We did this since the beginning of the year, so you guys know how to do this. Then you can check your work with me when you're ready. Okay? So pause the video and try it on your own. Okay, we have the cloud. Cloud is a thing, so it's a noun. The cloud was the color gray. Color is also a noun. It is a pronoun because it's talking about the cloud. If cloud is a noun, when we say it, we're talking about the cloud, right? It says the cloud was the color gray. It was growling. What was growling? It, the cloud was growling. So it is a pronoun. It was growling so loud. I is a pronoun too because we're talking about us and we're a noun. I thought it would rain. Rain is a noun also. It's a thing. I is a pronoun because we're talking about a person. I sat on the brown ground. Ground is a noun. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 brown nouns. And then we have green verb. Green verb is our action. Remember what we do. So the cloud was. What was the cloud doing? The cloud was. So that's a verb. The cloud was the color gray. It was, it meaning the cloud again. It was growling so loud. Growling is also a verb. It's something that you do, growl. I thought is a verb because thought is the past tense of think. So if I'm thinking, I'm doing something. I thought it would rain. I sat. Sat is the past tense of sit. And if I'm sitting down, I'm doing something. I sat on the brown ground and what else did I do? I waited. So that's a green verb too. I waited. Okay, then we have orange adjective. Orange adjective. The adjective describes our noun. So what our noun looks like, maybe what it tastes like, what it smells like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. Okay, the cloud was the color. So what color was the cloud? What did it look like? It was the color gray. So that's an adjective. It was growling so loud. So what did the cloud sound like? The cloud sounded loud. I thought it would rain. I sat on the brown ground and waited. Ground is a verb, so what does the ground look like? In our sentence, we described the ground. What does it look like? It looks brown. So that's an orange adjective as well. And I think that's it. Finally, we have yellow high frequency word. The color is a high frequency word for this week. I think was on our wall. So loud, I thought. Thought is a high frequency word for this week. It would rain. I sat on the brown ground and waited. And finally, red rule. Remember this week we're looking for words with the OU and OW. But we have to be careful because we're looking for words that have this combination that make the ow sound. I have 2 rule breakers on this paper, so we got to be careful. The cloud, ow, the cloud, color it very lightly red. The cloud, we have ow right there, was the color gray. It was growling, ow, growling. So, ow-d, loud, ow. We have that ow sound. I thought, this is a rule breaker for us right now because look at it, has the OU sound, but it doesn't make the ow sound. I don't say I thought. It says I thought. So this doesn't make the ow sound. I thought it would. And here we have another OU, but it doesn't make the ow sound. It doesn't say wowed. I wowed. It says I would, or it would rain. So we don't color code that because it doesn't have the ow sound. I sat on the brown ow. It has that ow sound. I sat on the brown ground. Ground. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red rules. And before we leave, we're going to read it all together. Ready with your finger or your pencil? The cloud was the color gray. It was growling so loud, I thought it would rain. I sat on the brown ground and waited. So I want you to go and read this to an adult or to a brother and sister, okay? And take a picture, post it online for me. Good job, boys and girls.